Cosplayers, what's one cosplay you will never do again, and why? My season I dressed up as a tanner for a con. A guy asked to take our pictures together. Our boobs accidentally touched, and he outright moaned. Jokes on him, flat cheated so those boobs were filled with socks. Plague Doctor, the mask bent and the goggles fogged up. Fell way too many times. I saw a kid at a Renfest dressed up as a plague doctor. Loved the idea, but not sure how he did it all day. At least it was a Midwest October. Pyramid Head, a whole slew of reasons ranging from it is very hard to move, see, eat, drink, literally anything, and this is the complaint with just the head. Now add in a skirt dress like bottom and a sword. It is very uncomfortable to walk, hard to sit down, and if the weather makes a slight turn to cold you really have no way to put something on that doesn't look completely ridiculous. Bison, my costume caught on fire going too near a heat source and severely burned my legs, lower back, and butt. Those terrible had open injuries. I tried 3D printing an entire Iron Man armor. Took forever to get just the arms and they looked terrible. Edit, welp, this took off. If anyone comes across my post, this Inga, Coma RWHMGNT, is what the final product looks like. I should point out that the four arms on the left of the last picture are glued together, so that's the final product. Ryak or any Shinigami and Death Note, because it was a lot of work for people to just think you were from Kiss. Haha, that's funny. I used to wear my Gara of the Sand costume for Hollow and everyone kept asking me if my god was an M&M. One year I did Binayatarai, Imga, Comcased Feta, JPG. It was fun as hell, but it was a layer of fabric, a layer of Viva foam, and then all the fabric on top. It was absolutely ducking roasting, and next to impossible to see. Not exactly cosplay, but I went to a Halloween party as Waldo once. Terrible idea, everyone wants you hiding in the back of their photos, and you hear haha I found you at least 800 times. Never again. Every time I see a Waldo at a con I always think damn. I feel sorry for that dude, because I know he can't walk 5 feet without someone thinking they are the first person all con to be like OMG I follow and YOLO. Professor X. The only reason I chose it was because I had torn my LCL and still wanted to attend the event, so I rented a wheelchair so I could get around the event. So many people came up and sat in my lap thinking I was just cosplaying as him. Thank goodness my friend's parents lived close and we went and grabbed ice packs that we threw on my knee so people would quit doing it. Literally anything that small kids will get excited about, he cannot handle that type of pressure. Not a cosplay, but I volunteered to be a pumpkin head gal at a Legend of Sleepy Hollow attraction. I would jump out, the young kids would run and scream, I would go back to my hiding place, good times, but some of the older kids would begin following me and punching me. That sheet was not cute. It hurt. Own kid started throwing rocks at me while a parent took picture. EC seriously wanted to wring that kid's neck in front of their parents and then murder the parents, so I almost became a real gal. Their behavior was so enraging. Creeper from Minecraft for Hollow. I decided to not cut armholes because creepers have none. Also the costume went over my legs and I had limited mobility. Slenderman. I got really into the craze back in the day, being a 6 feet 3 inches skinny dude, and I thought of myself highly for having been a Marble Hornets fan car before the game was ever released. The issue is that I have a big head nose, so through the morph suit you just see all my features, including my dark brown hair and smooshed nose. I ended up having a sore nose for days, and the soles of my morph suit were extremely darkened from walking around in platform boots for hours on end. I still can't believe Marble Hornets was made in 2009 and looked better than the Slenderman movie we got. Drive. Roxo, nobody wants to see that. The real reason is, while fun, I have no place to put anything, no pockets, nowhere to store cash ID, and if it's cold, forget about it. Also, seriously, nobody wants to see that. I kept it screen accurate, no kid friendly steps, and I wore it to age appropriate events. Edit. Okay, I may bring it out this coming year. Seems like there'd be enough of a positive response to warrant it. Not to mention the costs for all the coke to bring you into the proper Roxo mood. Also reeking like piss and constantly getting your ass kicked by metalheads isn't as funny as it sounds. Goku. Back in college I had long curly hair, and a girl who was amused by it straightened it and used hairspray to get it to stick straight up. Then I used black spray on it, though it was so big, I would have been better off going Super Saiyan. After college I chopped my hair, so impossible to do it justice again. Graffiti skin tracer from Overwatch. Paint kept transferring from the gas mask onto my face and my mask was literally dripping water from my breathing. It was hot and stuffy and gross. Edit. I don't know how to add pics on mobile. Lame I know, but I'm pretty sure I have some far enough down my Instagram feed at BURNTWAFFLEZCOSPLAY. As somebody who used to have to wear a gas mask for work, you didn't get a proper face seal around the edges. If the frame is loose against your face at all, the air redirects towards the leak and the inside of the mask becomes insanely humid. That said, it's really uncomfortable and hot. No matter what you do, it's probably safe to keep it on the never again list. I dressed up as Robot Unicorn from the Flash game and got hit on by 5 French guys. I'm a straight guy. Also glitter everywhere. I'm a straight guy. To be fair, you were decked out in rainbows and glitter. I can see how that might be a mixed signal. Daft Punk. I decided to use a privacy screen as the screen part and couldn't see more than about 3 feet in front of me at certain mathematically significant angles and 0 degrees at other angles. Faye Valentine for Cowboy Bebop. Not because of awkward guy comments, but because of other lady cosplayers that would come up to me and talk about how Faye is a good starter cosplay because I guess it's not intricate enough. I got tired of the condescension. Recruit from Rainbow Six Siege. Everyone thought I was a terrorist and had to leave. Shoulder got 4 others and made some M870s. Then everyone would understand. Darth Vader. Wore it 4 years into our stints. Vision is awful and 0 skin is shown anywhere, so it's hot. Real hot. Lots of wiring for lights and sound mean there's always something that can and does go wrong. Lots of kids coming up and randomly pressing buttons on the chest. Plus the cape is hard to control. Now I keep him permanently displayed on a 6'5" mannequin. Edit. Clarified that this is not the wrestler by adding Darth. I use a wheelchair and I was a Dalek 1 year. It was very popular and I had a lot of people wanting pictures, but I couldn't fit through doorways and kept hitting people. Edit. THX for the gold. Even though you seem like a bot. Edit 2. Here are the only 2 pictures I could find. Picture 1 Imga. Coma Dulo 4NT. Picture 2 Imga. Coma was Nil. It was huge because my wheelchair was huge and it had to fit around all the parts of it, then taper up to be thinner at the top. It was a very fun craft project that took a lot of manpower and time, but in hindsight using cardboard was not the wisest idea because the second any moisture got on it, it lost a lot of its stiffness. Live and learn. Stormtrooper. It was custom made to fit me and I was so uncomfortable in it. It was hot and I couldn't see. I also would be lucky if I came out of it without cutting myself. I once went to a Halo convention as Church from Red vs. Blue. Midway through the con, I had one of my friends pretend to kill me. I felt so bad for him because everyone was screaming at him, "You killed Church, you team killing ducted." If I ever do it again, I'll claim to be Epsilon instead. Lucy Heartfilia from Fairy Tale. So, the costume itself wasn't the problem. It's pretty simple to be fair, but it had other issues. Firstly, I have small boobs, and the character doesn't. The amount of people that mentioned this was unreal. Secondly, the character wears a very short skirt. I had a few older men follow me and harass me because I was wearing it. Also, it was mid-October in the north of Scotland, so it was freezing cold. Edit. Clarity Edit 2. Thank you all for showing support and our own experiences. You are a good bunch. Princess Zelda. I got a lot of compliments, but also an uncomfortable number of guys kept trying to flirt with me. Might have been even weirder if I wasn't a straight dude. Lord Business from the Lego Movie. Or actually any Lego character for that matter. The head was too heavy, and I could barely move. Edit. Okay, wow. I didn't quite expect this comment to get as much attention. But thank you for the gold. Close bracket. Snow White. I wore it to a major comic convention and people would not let me walk. Parents were literally shoving their children into my arms and making me take pictures with their kids. Kids were flocking to me, only nice part, and parents were pushing each other around to take a pic with me and their child first. I was trying to take the shuttle to the convention, and I had a small crowd around me that would barely shift, so I could get into the shuttle. My boyfriend at the time had to literally yank me and run away into the shuttle because we almost missed it. The same thing proceeded to happen in the shuttle, off the shuttle, and attempting to walk to the convention, and at the convention. After 2 more hours of this, I demanded we go back to the hotel so I could change and actually enjoy the convention. The worst part was people shouting, "It's Cinderella. It's Sleeping Beauty. No, people know I'm Snow White, dang it." TDKR Bane. I'm a bodybuilder and have a shaved head, so why not? Couldn't breathe. My lungs didn't care who I was until I took off the mask. No face from Spirited Away. At least not in public. I was accused of racism, asked to leave the subway, then taken aside by a very angry subway security employee, and had to frantically find a photo of No Face to show him to avoid more trouble. In fairness, he then was very concerned and helpful and advised me to take the costume off before I got myself beaten up by someone. My hometown has a very big Arabic population, so I can see why they thought I was being an asshole. What with the black cloak, black paint on my arms and the gold painted pebbles in my hands. I did a Punch Man cosplay at Comic Con. I shit you not, about an hour in a guy that was playing one of the enemy characters from the first season. I believe the leader of the aliens that invaded on that huge ship came sprinting down the walkway and punched me square in the stomach as hard as he could. I unconsciously tensed my muscles up, so that absorbed a lot of the impact, but if though it looks like I was fine, I felt like both my lungs had collapsed and about 3 ribs punctured my stomach. Shadow the Hedgehog. It was a mistake and I don't think I need to explain further. Edit. Thanks for the gold. And no, I didn't do blackface for those wondering. Sailor Moon. I felt beautiful and powerful, but the groping and upskirt pics, they think they're so sly, were repugnant. Edit. Blush. Thanks for all the kind words and sympathy. I don't have any fantastic pics, but this Inga Comlu 0oxgd captures most of the details. Out of all of the cosplays I've made, the most awkward is definitely Elma from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I've always worn her to summer cons and my horn would fall off every time. But the worst time was when it literally broke off and left residual model magic on my forehead. Also, the fabric I used for the tail stained my ass blue. Thanks, yeah, Han. Literally any kid's character. Parents need to control their children at cons. The number of times I've had kids pull at capes or sneeze on my cosplay or whatever is infuriating. Edna from The Incredibles. I'm a short gothic lady and at the time had the same haircut as her. Went as her for a Halloween party and it's my nickname ever since, especially when I'm angry. I ducking hate it. Edit. OMG, my first popular comment is about my nickname and I'm freaking out. Also, I hate it because I also see the similarities between us and it makes me mad because I wanted to be Violet when the movie came out. Thanks, Reddit. Back when the Assassin's Creed games were in their heyday, I cosplayed as one of the assassins with a few of my friends who were also assassins. For example, one of us was Connor, one was Ezio, another was Edward, etc. I spent a lot of time on those costumes and the props, so I have no problem saying they look good. We got a lot of attention, including getting stopped for literal hours at the PlayStation booth for pictures, because a few other assassins joined, and we had the whole family. The problem, I'm a girl, and a short one at that. My friends who cosplayed with me are tall boys. So at the risk of looking like a pop vinyl next to them, I had to wear boots with a significant heel on them to help give me some height. It was brutal. We only got tickets for the one day, and it was hours spent on our feet in poses, and we had to stop every few feet for pictures. Don't get me wrong, the pictures were awesome. It made all the time and effort worth it. but I was in absolute agony. At one point, when we all took a bathroom break, I took off my boots and put my throbbing feet on the cold tile floor. Judge me all you want, it felt amazing. Thankfully some people who wanted to take pictures with me noticed I was in pain and out of costume and just chatted with me and waited to take pictures until after I got the boots back on. I had to call it quits early on and missed out on looking around as much as I would have liked. Even trying to leave the huge convention center was slow because I kept getting stopped. When I finally got back to the hotel and took my boots off, I had huge blisters on the top of my feet, on my heels, everywhere. It ruined the rest of the weekend for me. A couple of years later I went as Lara Croft from the newer games and got to wear flat, grippy boots with a nice gel insert. It was hev. I dressed up in a punk costume that was a mix between Inspector Gadget and a go-go dancer. I was Go-Go Gadget. I had neon fishnets, string lights in my trench coat, light-up glasses, and all these other 8 gadgets. I wouldn't do it again because wearing heelers for hours tore up my feet. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. I went to work and came back to all this. Most of you want to see the costume. I didn't get many pictures, but here's a decent one. Imga. CWW. Made a pretty great Solara Vestora costume with real chainmail and armor, and holy shit, after 6 hours of wearing that heavy as metal, my back, shoulders, and arms were ducking wrecked. Edit. Wow. First gold. Praise the sun. Master Chief. Every Halloween at school I would wear an over-the-top costume, and for my senior year I wanted to go above and beyond. So I worked overtime to buy Halo 4 Master Chief armor. Only problem was that the armor pieces were made of plastic, so I couldn't sit completely down without breaking the thigh pieces. So I had to go through every class squatting over my seat instead of actually sitting in it. My legs were killing me at the end of the day. Also, my costume was very loud. The sound of plastic rubbing against each other was terrible. Now I usually go for smaller cosplay. This year I went as a Vault Dweller and I could actually move and stuff. With Dalmaka, I felt like my tits were gonna pop out of that suit at any second. And the body paint tattoos were always rubbing off cause of the suit and armor. Also, someone bumped into me and broke the end piece of my gun and a piece of my armor. It was so uncomfortable. Never again. It always seems so perplexing to me how people can up each other in designing the most inconvenient female character outfits. It's like they have to glue all the parts to the skin so it doesn't fall off, and I know for a fact how uncomfortable it is to have cloth stuck in your butt. The lusty Argonian maid. For obvious reasons, the costume was too much for me, and now I live my life making inappropriate Todd Harwood jokes, all while dressed as a seductive Argonian.